Hello everyone, welcome to Pabbly Connect. So in this video we will learn how to integrate WooCommerce and Salesforce. So our use case is pretty simple. When a contact is updated in WooCommerce, it will automatically update a customer in Salesforce. Now WooCommerce is an excellent e-commerce platform and Salesforce is an awesome CRM tool. So what we are going to do is we are going to send the data from WooCommerce to Salesforce. But there is one minor problem. There is no integration between WooCommerce and Salesforce. So in cases like these, we need to bring a third app to connect them both. So in this video, we will be using Pabbly Connect to integrate WooCommerce and Salesforce. And the best part of using Pabbly Connect is there is no need for coding skills or programming knowledge. It can be done easily. Let me show you on my screen.
Okay, so to begin the process, first type pabbly.com in your browser. Pabbly.com. Press enter. Okay, so this is the website of pabbly.com. Here hover on products and at the bottom you will find the option called as connect. Click on connect and then click on sign in. Okay, so this is the dashboard of Pabbly Connect. As you can see, I already have made an account in Pabbly Connect. You can also create your own free account in just 2 minutes. Here I would like to mention one more thing, that Pabbly Connect offers a plan where this integration can be tried out absolutely free. So you just have to clone the template of its workflow, which is available in the description box. Once you clone the template, you will get immediate access to this amazing workflow in your account. Okay, so scroll down and at the bottom there is a part called as connect. Here click on access now. Okay, so at the top right corner you will find a button, create workflow. Click this. A dialog box appears in front of you. It is asking you to give a name to this workflow. I'm going to give it as WooCommerce to Salesforce. WooCommerce to Salesforce. Salesforce. Okay. Salesforce. Then click on create. So when you click on create, a window appears in front of you. This is called as the trigger window. So in the choose app, let's make it as WooCommerce because we want to send the data from WooCommerce. And in the trigger event, how about we make it as customer updated? Okay, so customer updated is basically a trigger event. So your obvious question is, what is a trigger event? Trigger is basically a if statement. It asks a question: if the condition is met, what should be done? For example, if a new customer is updated, then what action should be taken by the system? Actually, there are more triggers like coupon restored, coupon deleted, coupon updated, and so on. However, in case if you don't find the trigger event of your choice, you can make a request to our team at admin@pabbly.com for the specific trigger that you want to build. But at present, I just want to update a customer in WooCommerce. Okay, so basically the gist of the process is we are trying to integrate WooCommerce to Pabbly Connect. So let's have a visit to WooCommerce. So this is my WooCommerce account and here you will find the option called as settings. Click on settings. Okay, so at the top right corner, you will find the option called as advanced. Click this. Then click on webhooks. Okay, so in the webhook, it is asking for add a webhook. Click this button. Okay, so we are going to assign a name to this webhook. I am going to give it as, let's say, Salesforce WooCommerce. You can assign any name according to your discretion. I'm just giving Salesforce to WooCommerce. Okay. Now the status has to be changed from disabled to active. Now the topic should be customer updated. This one. Now comes the most important part, the delivery URL. So to get the delivery URL, let's go to Pabbly Connect and copy this. This is the webhook URL or the delivery URL you want. Copy this and simply paste it here. Excellent. The secret will remain empty and the API version will remain same as WP REST API integration v3. So basically we have filled all in the details. Just click on save webhook. Okay, so basically now it is showing that the webhook has been created. This basically means that we have integrated WooCommerce to Pabbly Connect. This means anytime a new customer is updated in WooCommerce, Pabbly Connect will capture the data. So as to ensure that Pabbly Connect captures the data, let's go to Pabbly Connect and click on this button, Capture Webhook Response. Okay, so it is showing it is waiting for the data. Okay, so now imagine this, our dummy customer is updating his profile. Okay, so imagine I am a dummy customer and I am logging into my WooCommerce account. Okay, so the dummy customer is filling his email address and then he is filling his password. Okay, so he is logging into his WooCommerce account. Okay, so the customer called as Ted Mosby is updating his first name as well as the last name. So the first name was Ted. So now how about we make it as Barney. Okay, and the last name was Mosby. So now we are going to make it as Marshall. Okay, so this is the first name, that is Barney, and now the last name is Marshall. Okay, so the customer has updated both his first name as well as the last name. So I'm just going to click on Save Changes. Okay, so as you can see, account details has been changed. Since Pabbly Connect is integrated with WooCommerce, so let's see whether Pabbly Connect has captured this data related to updation of customer details. So let's go and see. Yes, the webhook response is showing the data fields has been updated. So the first name now is Barney and the last name is now Marshall. And the email hasn't been changed and it remains as 10mosby123@gmail.com. So the basic premise is that we have changed the first name from Ted to Barney and the last name from Mosby to Marshall. Excellent. So now we are ready to sync in this data to update a contact in Salesforce. Here we have two choices. The first one is if the contact already exists in Salesforce. And the second one is if the contact doesn't exist in Salesforce. So if the contact exists in Salesforce, all we have to do is update the data fields of the contact in Salesforce. If the contact doesn't exist, well, then the system can simply ignore. Let me show you with a flowchart. You will understand it easily. Okay, so basically this is the idea. If the customer or the contact exists in Salesforce, all we have to do is update the data fields of the contact in Salesforce. If the contact does not exist, then the system can simply ignore. Okay, so our first priority is to find out if the contact exists or not. So your obvious question is how I'm going to do that? Well, it's actually pretty easy. We will find the contact with the help of email. Okay, so why are we using email as the source of search? Well, email is unique. There is no such thing as two identical emails. Hence, we are going to use emails to search the contact in Salesforce. Okay, so your obvious question is how I'm going to do that. Let me show you. So scroll down. And at the bottom, plus button. Click this. So when you click on this plus button, another window opens up. This is called as the action window. So in this Choose app, let's make it as Salesforce because we want to search if the contact exists or not. So let's make it as Salesforce. Okay, this one. And in the action event, there are a ton of action event like create lead, create task, create contact. But I just want to find a string. So just scroll down and click on search for a string. Okay, so basically the idea is that we are going to search a contact by clicking on this action event as search for a string. Then click on connect with Salesforce. In the new credentials, just again click on connect with Salesforce. Okay, so it is asking access to Salesforce. So let me tell you something before we allow access. Pabbly Connect doesn't take any chances with your data. Your data is 100% safe and secure with us. Okay, so on the basis of that trust, just click on allow. Okay, so excellent. So it is showing the authorization is successful. Just click on OK. So as you can see, a set of blanks has appeared in front of you. The purpose of this blank is very simple. We are going to look out for the email. So to figure out if the contact is present in Salesforce or not. For example, in the query, we are just going to map in the detail called as the email. So this is called as the mapping button. Click this and just type email. Okay, so the email is tedmosby123@gmail.com. So let's have a look in this Salesforce. So as you can see, we have a guy called as Ted Mosby. Click this. Okay, so this is the email of Ted Mosby, tedmosby123@gmail.com. And this guy is present in the contacts. Okay, as you can see this, and this guy is present in contacts. So let's go to Pabbly Connect. And in the object, how about we type in as contact? Okay, now in the fields required, just type as email, and the limit is keep it as 20. Okay, so basically what it will do, it will search all the list in contacts, all the emails in contacts, and if there is a guy called as Ted Mosby which is actually present, okay, it will give some good results. So let us go to Pabbly Connect and just click on save and send test request. Okay, so the API response is showing that there is a guy called as 𝗪𝗵𝘆. So we just entered the email 𝗪𝗵𝘆123@gmail.com and it is returning the name called as 𝗪𝗵𝘆. Okay, this is because we have a guy called as 𝗪𝗵𝘆 with the email 𝗪𝗵𝘆123@gmail.com. Excellent. So let me explain you this again if you don't understand. How about I remove this? Okay, and in the query we will just enter a name, enter an email that is not present here. For example, let's type some random email. Let's say Godzilla WRTYXYZ, some random email that is not present in my Salesforce contact, okay, @gmail.com. So this query, this email is not present in my contact. Okay, so I'm just going to click on save and send test request. Okay, so the API response is showing nothing. Okay, this is because there is no contact called as Godzilla UI123@gmail.com. There is no contact called as Godzilla. That is why it is the API response is showing empty. How about let's go and let's click on this one, Matthew Stephanie, and this is the email address. I'm just copying this to make you understand. I'm copying this and I'm just removing this and just pasting it here. Okay, so basically there is a person called as Stephanie@pabbly.com. Okay, so it will return the name of the person. So yes, there is a person called as Stephanie Matthew. This is because there is a person called as Stephanie Matthew when we have entered the query, the email as Stephanie@pabbly.com. So basically what it is doing is it is just looking out for the email, okay, if it is present, and it is just giving out the full name. Excellent. So we have made it clear to the system that if it needs to figure out if the customer exists or not. So how about we change it back to the email that we have received, that is 𝗪𝗵𝘆. Okay, so this is the email and just going to click on save and send test request. Okay, so it is returning the name 𝗪𝗵𝘆. Okay, so now we have made it clear to the system that it needs to figure out if the customer exists or not. So now what? Well, we have to instruct the system if the contact exists, well, it can proceed further and update the details of the contact. And if the contact does not exist, well, it can simply ignore. So in order to dissociate the cases where the contact already exists from the cases where the contact does not exist, we have to bring in the routers. Okay, so now your obvious question is, what are routers? So routers are basically options by which you can direct your data to different streams based on the condition you add here. For example, in this case, this is our router. If the contact exists, then well, we will simply update him. If it doesn't exist, then the workflow simply ends. Okay, so to add the router, just click on this plus button and you get the action window. So in the choose app, let's make it as routers. Okay, so as you can see, we have two routes here, route 1 and route 2. If you want more, then you just click on here, add route. Okay, so in the route 1, how about we name this something like, if the customer exists, then update the details. Okay, click this. And in the route 2, how about we make it as if the customer does not exist, does not exist, it ends, workflow stops, or it ends, workflow stops. Okay, so just click on update. So we can just ignore this one. So we will be working with this one. If the customer exists, then update the details. So just click on settings. Okay, so we are going to add a filter here. So the filter will be, if the email is already present, then all we have to do is update the customer, update the contact in Salesforce. So for example, it is demanding an ID. So to get the ID, this is our ID we have got from the API response. Okay, so this is the ID we have got. So basically we just have to map in this. So the ID is something like this, search record is exist. Okay, just click on save and send test request. So basically it will return the statement as true. Click this. Okay, so the API response is showing the condition is true because 𝗪𝗪𝗆 exists. Okay, so basically that's the ID for 𝗪𝗪𝗆. So this is the ID for 𝗪𝗪𝗆. Okay, this one. So just go back to settings. Okay, and since the person exists, all we have to do is update the details. So just click on this plus button. Okay, scroll down. So in the choose app, let's make it as Salesforce again because we want to update the details. Okay, now in the action event, how about we make it as update a contact? Then click on connect with Salesforce. Connect with Salesforce again. Okay, allow access. Okay, so it's showing the authorization is successful. Okay, so scroll down. Now in the contact ID, it's just again requiring, so we have to enter the ID, just toggle this to the right, remove this, and we are going to enter the contact ID. The ID that we have received, that is the record ID. Okay, so scroll down, this is the one we want. The last name, we are going to enter the name that we have updated in WooCommerce. The last name is Marshall. The first name is Barney. Salutations, now we don't have to change all other details because we don't have the details associated with all these blanks, so just we are leaving it empty. Just click on save and send test request. Okay, so the API response is showing nothing pretty much, but how about we look into this Salesforce? So when we refresh this, we have a guy called as, already have a guy called as 𝗪𝗪𝗆, but when we refresh this, the 𝗪𝗪𝗆 guy vanishes. So let's click this on Barney Marshall. So as you can see, we have updated the contact in Salesforce. Okay, so this means we have successfully integrated Salesforce and WooCommerce with help of Pabbly Connect. So how about we double check if the integration is working fine or not. So before that, let me explain you the whole gist of the process. So I'm going back to Pabbly Connect. Okay, and just clicking on save and click on done. Okay, so basically I'm just minimizing my windows. Okay, and I have minimized my trigger window. Okay, so basically this is the whole process in a nutshell. First you integrated WooCommerce to Pabbly Connect, and then you have updated the customer, and then you have looked out for a Salesforce string. Okay, so you have used the email to find if the contact exists in Salesforce, and then you have used the router. Okay, so using the router, you have made two conditions. If the customer exists, all you have to do is update the details. If the customer does not exist, the workflow stops. Excellent. So how about we make one more change in a customer profile. So as you can see, we have a customer whose name is Chloe and the last name is Simpson, and this is the display name Chloe Simpson. Okay, and this is the email address chloe123@gmail.com, and also we have this Chloe Simpson in Salesforce. Okay, this is the contact called as Chloe Simpson. So we are going to change this. Okay, so how about we make it as Decker, and the last name is Lisa. Okay, first name is Decker and the last name is Lisa, and we are not going to change anything else. Just click on save changes. Okay, so it is showing the account details has been changed successfully. So let me refresh this. Okay, yes, Chloe Simpson has been removed, and now there is a different detail called as Decker Lisa. So this means our integration is working absolutely fine. So
Not just these two apps, you can integrate up plenty of applications using Pabbly Connect. If you have any queries, contact us at admin@pabbly.com. Our dedicated team members will help you to automate your workflows. Or better, just visit our website www.pabbly.com. It's awesome. Thanks.